is a chance to prove it. You know, Expert is a really up-and-coming team, and I want to see someone like Esporati who strive themselves on the pride and their spirit that they have within their team to see them successful.
And you want to see them crush Team Expert's dreams, just as
just Vaness's dreams, just Vaness's, just his. And I go back a long time with this guy, like 3-4 years, so you know it's all good fun here. But here we go, ZP.
Well, we are getting started here, and it is going to be Team Expert on the offense. They will be running a dive offense supported by D.Va, and right now they're just feeling out the situation, taking a look at the Esporati defense, certainly sizing up the Torbjorn turret, seeing that's in the cafe, and for now, they are taking their moment as Envision goes in, wins a Tracer battle, and now it's a 65 as Expert Jason has way more room to work with.
Well, in Esporati, they're running a Sombra and a Torbjorn, and they're running a Reinhardt as a solo tank, so trying to use that shield to be something to sit behind. Did's finally able to respond, though, with a big kill to Vaness to at least equalize things. But the thing is, the point's being captured. It's 2/3 of the way through, and Core is just going to be a little bit too late to actually get on top of the point. It's going to force the backline, the squishy members, to just fall.
And now Team Expert will fully secure things out here. They take down everyone in the cafe. No more lattes for Esporati, and no more point A, Jason. Always upsetting when your coffee break gets interrupted like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was actually a fan of the comp they were running. Like, the Torbjorn's not necessarily a bad pick. We've seen, you know, a lot of teams pair that with like an Orisa, right? You put the shield down, the turret's really hard to actually get away from. And of course, if you do want to get in close and personal with it, which you're going to have to, you're going to have Orisa there who can do a hell of a lot of damage. But switching things up, we see the Genji here now picked up for them, switching Gustav over to Zenyatta as well, who did use the EMP in the last fight, so not really losing out too much. But it also means he's not going to have his Transcendence, and he's not going to be able to stop Cranks, who's going to have his Dragon Blade soon.
You're not going to have that support counter play in progress here for Esporati, but they get the better of Vaneless here early on, and what that means is that maybe they get a chance to reestablish here, Jason, where it can be rough after losing point A. Regardless, here come the flankers, and the ultimates hit Pater, both Crunks and Envision going off. That is 4 kills for Crunks early on here. Wow.
Not sure why Vaneless is actually playing Soldier. I just realized, look, the kill feed. Oh, Soldier died. Okay, not a big deal. And then I look, and it's actually Vaneless, the support player for the team, trying to use that. So maybe trying to get that early high ground presence, that early high ground control with him on the Soldier, then using that momentum off the first point capture to trail it through in the second, so eventually he could switch back to Ana. In the meantime, we do see Dids. He has his visor ready to go. So he'll be looking to get in a position, obviously, to use this. But the D.Va out of next, the flex player for Team Expert, is going to be a real pain.
It will certainly be a pain, and this is where Dids has to find the right positioning, then move over and make this fight work. But he's already under heavy pressure, down to half HP. He's in no position to drop the visor here just yet. Has to back up and get healed, and no, he is chased right down. That is going to be Decon taking him out of the fight and creating necessary space here for Team Expert as, Jason, they are rolling with reckless abandon right now.
Yeah, Esporati is just not able to put up a good defense here at all, and, you know, it's unfortunate for Dids. He obviously would use the visor there, but if you're 0-7, the Tracer player for Esporati, you need to get that D-suit onto next to allow this one to be effective. In the meantime, they're just trying to stall for a couple extra seconds. There's no real chance that Esporati is going to hold this point, but Expert doing what their name implies, being experts on this map currently. 5 minutes left to go to capture this 3rd point.
And I think the painful thing there is that Esporati didn't really get a whole lot for that delay. The time they gained was minimal, and the ult they gave to Team Expert significant as Cranks moving in, picking up 2, and they're going to be somewhat loaded for the next fight. Sure, Esporati will have options here, but they've just been really struggling to open up fights on even terms here, Jason.
And this is something we're going to be looking at, ZP, that we've seen a lot of teams, and actually Team Expert struggle with. If you're going to visor or nano someone, if you're going to nano Cranks here, you got to have a bio grenade ready for Gustav. You have to have something ready for this trance that's coming through. And I want to see if they fix this communication. The Blade's not going to be coming out. They're not trying to use their ultimates just yet, but it forces Esporati to throw quite a few.
Yeah, the ultimates are coming out here from Esporati, and they do convert. It's not a total loss, but the problem is that Expert is so close to their spawn here, they can just back out, and they even find Dids, which means that you're going to have a moment here where, sure, they lost some people, but they're going to be able to come back in as 6 and challenge Esporati right away.
Not sure why Gustav actually was the one to use the trance, the support ultimate, when he could have maybe had almost Panda use the sound barrier to engage the fight. Now you've used the trance, so your chance of like stopping this blade of happening is gonna be really difficult. Obviously, the bio grenade's not gonna affect you too much when you have the sound barrier with the extra HP, but if they can bait this out, if they can just, you know, get Cranks in position to use one with the blade and the nano, you're still gonna shred through all that extra health.
Well, certainly, and that's all good for Cranks here because he is ready to get that nano boost. Now the sound barrier comes out, but Cranks pulls out the blade anyways. The nano boost is in, and here comes the nano blade. He is looking to the back, finds Dids and gets more. Dash resets ahoy here for Cranks as Team Expert opens up the way, and this payload is cruising towards the end here in favor of Team Expert.
But Vaness, he actually hit a great sleep dart onto Strom there in the middle of that fight, which allowed Cranks to have that extra freedom. He cancels out enemy ultimate with his own on Dids, who's playing the Soldier. In the meantime, the pulse one to come through, so he gets Gustav away. The payload needs to be contested. Someone finally touch it. It's going to be strong to be able to come in here, but the kills are stolen all the way here of Expert.
And this is Esporati gasping for life here at the very end, just desperately trying to delay. And everyone knows what happens here. You throw your bodies on set point for a good cause, try and eke out the last few seconds, but that delay is not going to be too much at all as Team Expert. A dominant time being set here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left remaining, Jason.
So, Did's got his first visor off in the second to last fight of that map. And it's obviously really unfortunate if you're trying to use a visor, you try to use it to its utmost efficiency, right? You want to be able to use it, pick up quite a few kills. The problem was, he uses it there, he gets to do something to next, good for him, but his whole team gets wiped. And he didn't really have the opportunity to use it earlier on when he was on top of jail. He got pushed off and he kept losing members one by one by one. But at some point, you just have to force something. You have to maybe force ultimate of Expert, support ultimate, which they were stood on for quite a long time.
I think Dids was being a little bit careful with it, and I mean, you saw that on second where he did have the tac visor up, but he didn't even really attempt to use it, and then by the time maybe he could have used it, guess what? He had the tanks of Team Expert right in his face, hunting him down, and he didn't even get a chance to be the hero for second. Expert moves in, rolls the payload right in, and keeps it moving forward, so it was definitely difficult for Esporati. It just felt in general that they were staggered and disheveled for most of the map.
Yeah, very true. And I look at their switching compositions here as they're going on the attack here, and Dids will be on the Diva, it looks like. Strong going to be sticking to the Genji. So they have the standard like 2-2-2 composition, and Expert's going to be investing into Veinless on the Ana. So they're actually not going to be using a Zenyatta here. They didn't use it at all, I believe, on the initial defense, or sorry, initial attack. And it seems like they're playing very confident with this, with Veinless on the Ana.
They're going a little bit more old school. We haven't seen a lot more Zen in recent times, but teams from time to time will go back to the old basics of Ana Lucio. So Expert, I guess, going with what they're comfortable with here, and there will be no shenanigans, no Torbjorn in the cafe this time, Jason.
Yeah, I would hope not, honestly, because these matches mean a lot, especially for Expert too, who was already able to pull off the 2-2 tie against United, then the 3-1 against Bazooka Puppies, and if they pick up this win, they're looking very good into the next week. But I mean, to me, if they're not using the Discord, they're not using Zenyatta, it kind of says that they're really confident in Cranks and Vision, Nex, and Decog to really hit the same target at the same time and blow them up without the extra need of that. And then you have the extra confidence and the extra reliability of having that Nano Blade to just solidify a kill, or solidify a fight.
It's a case where they don't feel like they have to rely on Discord Orb to finish off kills, but Esporati, they're not wasting any time, Jason. They are immediately looking to reclaim the cafe. They want their coffee, and I don't think they are going to get it. It's going to be Sauron going down immediately here. 2 kills here from Team Expert, and they successfully defend the cafe, and drinks are on them.
Worst coffee shop I've ever seen in my life here. I mean, they rushed in, right? The problem is when you rush in like that, you're not getting the healing from your Lucio, you're not getting the healing from Zenyatta because he doesn't have the line of sight. Not to mention the Discords. Like, you pushing into that cafe means you're going to lose a fight if the enemy team responds to you correctly, which with an Ana, the bio grenade, the splash damage you can do, it completely counters any sort of dive like that.
Team Expert, even though they're a little bit spread on their defense, as soon as they went into the cafe, everyone converged and made that a rough line indeed. And now Esporati being a little bit more cautious on this next engage. They don't immediately rush back in. You see their Tracer going to the back line, looking to be distraction from the back, as the rest of their team comes in here through the front. But Team Expert, they're not looking too bad here. They do lose in vision, but the rest of them very healthy, and they have the sound barrier to help support on this fight, which is going to aid them heavily in pushing Esporati.
He's going to be going in directly towards the backside, but so is Cranks as well, trying to kill the supports. He's actually being forced out by cores on the Winston, the self-destruct. Not only going to connect onto too many, but you can see the kill feed. It's going red here. It looks like Cranks is able to stall up enough time here for Team Expert to just hold on and defend against Ron.
Well, that was a tale of 2 Genjis and 2 front lines where both Genjis went to the respective opposite number on the other team, and it was Team Expert standing tall when the dust had settled. So despite that being a promising opportunity for Esporati, now what are they looking at, Jason? They have no ults left aside from the sound barrier, and a lot of time has still gone off as this Expert defense looks to be pretty good here so far.
That was a famous book, right? A Tale of Two Genjis.
I think it might have been. If not, it's going to be an anime soon.
Maybe. That pulse bomb is going to catch on a goose, so he falls into almost Panda, and that picks up 2 kills of both supports now down. This is an easy fight for Expert, and that's just what a pulse bomb can really do for you. But with 1 minute and 40 seconds left for Esporati, I mean, they have, you know, a sound barrier, yeah, they do have, you know, cores and Winston for Promo Rage to buy some extra time, but they don't have the DPS ultimates, at least that Blade in particular, to Strawn up anytime soon.
No, and what this is going to force for Esporati is that they have to be aggressive with their sound barrier here, Jason, where they have to just roll in, drop the barrier immediately, and try and pick up a quick kill off that in lieu of having DPS ultimates. If they don't get anything off the barrier, it's going to be tough. Now, they're going to the cafe once more. Cores, Primal Rage on deck. But while this is going on, they lose Lucio in the back, so this dive is a little bit discombobulated.
It is, but I mean, they've been able to switch things up, right? They went on the high ground of the Cafe, which you need to see a dive do, because if you go into the lower hand side, you can't be protected. The Fire Grenade's going to just shred you apart. You get control of the high ground, and you fight with the height advantage, that vertical advantage that's so important to have in any FPS game. But ZP, we're approaching the last minute of time for Esporati. We have 3:10 left for Expert as they finish the map here, and 6 ultimates to use. Esporati, they're looking at a dry run here to force his ultimates out, and then go for the final kill.
This is going to be very difficult for Esporati indeed, especially with the resources that Team Expert has. They are rich. Dollar bills are everywhere on their side. And they're even getting a little bit of time for a bit of a sit-down.
He's using that to actually see around a corner. So you're going to see sometimes things like that happen. Sit down to just see around a corner, so he's not giving his position away.
Well, here comes Cranks. The Dragon Blade is out. The Sound Barrier is supporting it. And he takes down his opposite number, Genji, in the final swipe. So Team Expert already starting off strong here. And they are piling on here, Jason. Esporati leading members by the moment. And they're down to their last 15 seconds. They can't really disengage now.
Not anymore. And Cranks, more importantly, did kill Strong, but he used his blades. He actually eliminates that ultimate. They're still picking up kills here. 10 seconds left to go. As they force Dids on the respawn, people are still trying to run back in, trying to force some sort of overtime, some sort of contention, because they need to pick up this point. They need to continue to push this payload if they can even get there. And there we go. Overtime is now kicked off.
Overtime is in progress in Esporati, looking for a miracle. If there's going to be a miracle, it'll come from their Tracer, but no, Zoro's Pulse Bomb comes up dry, does not get what he's looking for here. And Esporati still making this a somewhat chaotic melee. They have options here, Jason, to bring this back. However, Cranks trying to deny hope, but it's not quite enough. And we see Esporati now still keeping the dream alive, but they have to stand the point.
Well, Vision's still there, and he still has Pulse Bombs to use, but he's not going to connect that one. Man, this did hit a good sleep dart, but Chorus is actually the last one alive here on the payload. He's trying to stall for some extra time. You do have Ditch switch over to Summer so you can rejoin the party. Cranks just respawning back in to join. Venus even switching to Soldier here, ditching the Ana, because they want to get back to this point as quick as they possibly can. The Tracer now, Zoro 7 is going to touch that point for the overtime. It's just so taken away. They need to get some kills. They need to get some men here.
They need anything here, but their Tracer goes down. Their Sombra's out of it. They have no more DPS options. And Esporati going to go down decisively here in Hollywood. They made it a little bit interesting, Jason, towards the very to each other.
Yeah, Expert going for 2-2-2. Esporati going for triple DPS, though. They do have Dids back on the Soldier, which is... I like it, honestly. I don't know how he was doing on the D.Va in particular, how defensive he was playing, but as we did see his backline dying over and over again, you kind of imagine how much presence and pressure Cranks is putting on them. But so far, of course, with the initial kill on the decon, you see almost Panda here just trying to keep his team healthy up towards the backside, trying to allow them to have that mobility to rotate around when they need to.
Well, the upside here for you, Sprite, when you win that early Winston battle and you're up a Winston, you can be a lot more aggressive. You can make way more space for your Soldier in the back, and they take great advantage here where Dids, plenty of room to work with here. Finally has a Genji go up into his face and Cranks, but it's a little bit too little too late here as Esporati is getting a firm advantage and Cranks chooses Sweet Death instead.
Yeah, it's really actually difficult if you're Expert there. If you didn't take the initial position on the point, then you're not, which obviously you can't really do because you have a Soldier, you have a Tracer, you have a Genji, and you have a Lucio to speed them up. Like, they have so much mobility, so much speed that they can get set up in the point a little bit quicker than you. And when you have your Soldier spread out from your Tracer, spread out from your Genji, spread out from your Winston, the D.Va cannot be as effective because you're being attacked from so many different directions and your defense matrix is only so big. So it kind of forced Next to spin around pretty much in circles, trying to mitigate as much damage as possible, and then eventually lose out on targets.
Whenever your D.Va is doing the spin-a-rooney, it's never a great look, but Cranks moving in, gets a dash reset on the Saran here, and now has the Dragon Blade up. This is where he can make a difference for Team Expert. Diving into the back, slices Winston the ribbons, and goes on a slashing rampage.
Well, that's what happens when you don't have a Transcendence, right? That's what happens when you don't have a Zenyatta to stop that damage from coming through. Maybe the Sound Barrier, actually, I don't think the Sound Barrier would have been enough, though. We're going to see the quick replay here of how many kills and how he's able to do it. But just look how close together they are. They're not really spread out. They're not really being sped boosted away, because I believe Almost Panda was actually on the point there. Wasn't really able to help them get away. But it's Pulse Bomb. You're eyeing it.
Envision right now just creeping. He is waiting for anyone to just go through here. Guesses a little bit wrong where people are going in from, but just casually walks up, lobs a Pulse Bomb, and hits absolutely nothing.
All that build up for that. ZP, that's a little bit disappointing.
Honestly, it is a story of my life, Jason, in so many ways. You have no idea.
Well, in the meantime, we do see Chorus and Gustav able to pick up some kills with the help of that Sound Barrier. And Expert just didn't have a lot of ultimates to use necessarily. I guess Next, being Zetsuda, it's not going to be able to help too much either. But still, Expert's going to lose the point. But after accumulating, good 40, 50%.
It's not bad here for Team Expert. I mean, obviously it would have been better if they had hit that Pulse Bomb and you had Envision coming strong from the back, but they're still delaying things out here. They're still getting progress. This is very good at Control Center where you can get a lot of extra progress done, even in a fight that you had already lost.
Actually, yeah, that actually might not be over here. They're committed to Transcendence just by as much time. They went from 30% up to 53 so far. They have Cranks with the Dragon Blade ready to go. I don't know if he's once they commit it just yet because he's still running back from spawn, but they're still holding the point here. Esporati just cannot get the kills quick enough. Vaynes will eventually go down to 0-7, but the Blade's not here, and Cranks is looking to go in.
Cranks looking to turn the tide of this fight here. It gets chunked pretty heavily and doesn't really get much of anything from that fight. But Esporati, they've seen a winning fight for them quickly become a contested fight and something where they might not even get a recap at all here, Jason. And that's something that can't happen when you start a fight out that strong.
Dude, are you telling me they just built up 50% from stalling and then held the point in the end with Cranks not getting a single kill with Dragon Blade? That is not forgivable for Esporati here. You have to take that point, especially when you had a 2-man advantage. And now they're looking at losing this first point in Lijiang Towers. 90% is now being passed here out of Expert.
That's really rough. That's the type of thing where you absolutely do not want to go and face your coach after this round. It's like, yeah, that was bad. But Esporati looking for redemption here. You see Sarn going to the back, finds Lucio, and now the dash resets are in with the Dragon Blade. The Nano Boost helps that out a bit, and Esporati fighting for their life to try and flip this back in overtime and keep the low hope alive on Control Center.
Well, they're still able to keep quite a few ultimates up, though. You can see the Sound Barrier, the Visor, the Karma Rage is available to use. I just wanted to point really quickly, we did see next with the Diva paired in with Decog. They pushed 3 people from Esporati back, and the Defense Matrix basically covers that entire hallway, so it actually limits a lot of damage and splits the rest of them. But that Blade of Saran is able to actually capitalize enough and pick up enough kills to turn that fight around. But still 6% to 99. Esporati have to hold for a long time. They have ultimates to do it here, so I wonder if Expert's going to go for a dry run to force out these ultimates.
They certainly have the ability to go for a dry run here. They don't have to invest a Sound Barrier, but they're going to go for it, Jason. No fight lost, the motto of Team Expert right now, but they're going to be trading out beats with Esporati, and Dids with a golden opportunity to drop the Visor here and end this fight decisively for Esporati.
Well, the thing is that barrier helped Vaynes get his Transcendence, was able to buy enough time for him to turn this one around. You can see 2 kills now for Team Expert.
Oh,
Even
no.
Decog just going for the knockoff. He gets the kill on the Dids, says hello to the bottom of the Lijiang Tower. Jeff probably going to be happy about that one, but Esporati just lost too many people. Zoro just trying to come in to stall for some extra time, switching over the Tracer, or playing the Tracer, but he's just not going to be able to do too much here with just not any backup, and that's going to be first point here to Lijiang Tower taken.
So you might think that Dids died there, but the reality is that the lower stages of Lijiang are underneath the Control Center. He just wanted to get a head start to the next stage.
Just saying hello to Lijiang Tower.
Exactly. And maybe take a swim in the holographic koi pond.
It just makes me think about Hex talk about fishing and how sad he was to realize he's not that bad at fishing because they're holograms. Either way, we're moving on to Garden here. Now, Fair Mercy has been very prevalent here. We saw some Fair Mercies earlier on when we were watching the offline matches before we did start the day. Can you talk to us about Fair Mercy on this point?
Well, Fair Mercy on this point can be very effective, and I will say it's part NA leaking to EU here, where you're seeing more Fair in play. NA has a lot of teams that like running Pharah, but what the Fair can do is that you have a lot of room to operate with. The sky is very clear. You have a lot of nooks that you can hide in near the point, so actually chasing down Pharah points can be very difficult if the Pharah is using mobility and terrain to her advantage, and it can throw teams for a loop too if they don't fight Pharahs that often.
And it's really rough too, for me, I'm thinking of against Nex, who, because you shoot so slowly, you have 6 rockets in your clip. You mitigate one of those rockets, you take away so much damage you can potentially do, but it doesn't seem to matter here. Dids does get the kill on a Vaynes. It's like he was not really expecting the Pharah to come in as he gets caught off, and Esporati, not a bad start for them. They've lost too many people now. For some reason, Gustav has gone down to Winston. I'm not sure where he was, but he wasn't with Dids.
I think Esporati just went a little bit too aggressive there. They got the early pick on Vaynes. They could have pulled back a bit and secured that out. And bear in mind, too, when you're running a Fair Mercy, one of your primary enemies is going to be the Zenyatta, because Discord Orb makes it a lot easier for a soldier to shoot you out of the air, for a Tracer to find you in the brief moments when you're on the ground. So we'll see how this goes. If Dids can continually get Vaynes out of the fight, it'll be very good, but we'll see if they can do it once more.
It'll be hard to do. So we're going to see some return kills out of both teams here, with Cores and Cranks both going down. Vaynes only at 79%. He's eventually going to fall to Didsu again. As you point out, it's going to be in his face and eliminate him. But again, Gustav has gone down. The Mercy. If you're playing Mercy here, watch Ginger Pops. As we were able to see yesterday when we were watching some VODs. Like, you got to be able to play safe. You got to be able to stay alive here to get those reds off. You have to be that constant threat. And as you see a pulse bomb come in to actually take down 0-7 out of Envision. But Saran with the blade should be able to secure this one.
Saran able to move in and make mincemeat out of Team Expert when it counts. But we were mind melded there because all I could think about was Ginger Pop, where another Mercy whose name starts with a G, but he doesn't die. And I think part of it is that he's very smart about his positioning. Gustav, on the other hand, has been a little bit too far out, and he's given Expert opportunities to eliminate him from the fight. And it's made Esporati's job here a lot harder.
How is this taking so long to kill off Expert? They're still coming in one by one. They built up another 20%. They're still getting kills, but somehow Expert just keep having people alive. Eventually, the point will be turned, and they're able to start accumulating their own percent, but not before 58% for Expert has been given away. Vayne is transfer ready to go. They also have the Primal Rage, so the ability to knock people off the bridge if they do want to go for it. But with how Esporati are playing, sitting far back, I don't really see a chance to get any of these environmental kills.
Well, the other thing too is that once you capture the point here, Farrah can just hang up in the air, look for the boops, look for good barrages, and Didge just casually moving over. Not gonna be able to barrage too easily there because of Transcendence, and it's a nice Transcendence engage from Expert here. They get 3 kills right after, but the Resurrection is in play, and Team Expert not out here yet. Resurrection, the Sound Bearer, that's a beta 1 stuff in action there, Jason.
I mean, that was perfectly well played. They knew the res was going to be a factor, and they had a support ultimate to stop it after Transcendence was used. Mirage is going to be coming through, but Obstruction of Justice is going to be coming in here out of next. He eliminates all of that. Eventually, only 1 kill was taken over to Tallies, but either way, they're going to hold on here, and they should have turned this one around as they're just finishing off a couple more kills. Decog gets 2 kills, as well as Primal Rage form. This man we talked about earlier on, how important it is to hit your jumps as a Winston, to get that extra damage in, and this man is going crazy.
Decod has definitely been having a good game here so far, and what you see here from Team Expert, they're back in the driver's seat, and Esporati, Jason, doesn't really have a whole lot of room to work with here. At 70%, this next fight
Vision.
is... Uh-oh, no. He's creeping. He's going. He's looking for a Gustav is in his sights, chasing after it, just barely able to fly away as the rest of Esporati going in and Envision, still creeping to the back, ends up with 2. He will not be denied.
So Division, he had his arms T-Rexing, he was doing the creep there, and eventually picks up 2 kills without even using the pulse bomb because he knows he doesn't need it here. Just going to use this one into the next fight as they built up 90% for themselves.
Do you think it's fair that Reaper has a reputation of being a creeper in Overwatch when we see Tracer just creeping more often than not nowadays?
It's a little weird. I think Reaper, maybe next patch we'll get his place back here, maybe get some revenge. But right now, 99%, we're going to see Esporati come back in here. They still have the pulse bomb on 0-7 to maybe turn the tides, maybe somehow pick up some kills. But again, he's being forced out. Pulse bomb has come through. Decod's just going to jump away to save his teammates, and the Transcendence is going to keep him alive on top.
Well, we are in overtime right now, and Esporati once more fighting for dear life, trying to get any delay in here. That self-destruct not going to do too much to affect the fight as Expert able to finish things out strong, taking down the rest of Esporati and firmly.
Yeah, I mean, self-destruct on that point, it always, it's such a weird thing for me to see, but it does so much because obviously you can't cover the entire point, right? But what you do is you throw it on one side of it, so you split the point in half. So it either forces the people on that side to leave the point, which in overtime is very dangerous to do, or it forces them to come to you on the other half of that one. And that kind of forces some easy kills for yourself. And if there's like some disruption within the team, if the call isn't made to go the same direction as one, then you're gonna get picked off.
Well, it's the same thing too, where sometimes like we harshly judge Dragon Blades that don't get anything, but if the Genji goes for the Dragon Blade and then a bunch of people react to him in the back line and focus on him, and it opens up your Tracer to get 3 kills, it still can be very effective.
Very, yeah. And we saw right there how effective it could be as while the self-destruct was going off and people were leaving the point, they picked up 2 kills to not allow them to come back together and conglomerate together as one. That's not an easy word to say in the broadcast. But we're seeing Esporati stick to the triple DPS.
Well, they are sticking to a triple DPS, no conglomerations in progress, as we see both teams right now just trading off here in the courtyard. It's going to be Cranks finding his man in the back to start things off, and once more, Expert starting things out on the right foot. 2 kills, now 3 up, and Jason, this should be a very swift early take for them.
I mean, it might just be a swift early map as well with the 2-0 lead. Like, you see Veilus, if he can take down 0-7 one-on-one, that's never a good sign. Zoro seems to have been having a very rough game so far against Veilus in this situation. We saw, even Zappos before. I hate to keep pointing him out, but I just remember Zappos. I can't remember the team he was playing against where he just could not deal in the 1v1 against Zenyatta. That was over at TakeOver against Cyclones, if I'm not mistaken, against Pox. But meantime, Envision again. Charlie's inner lonely island. He's going for the creep.
I will say this, when dealing with Finnish players like Zappos, Jason, the North remembers. Never forget.
They do. But Zappos still loves me. It's all good. Crank's going to take down Strong, as he got very low in HP, trying to eliminate the Genji play. Gustav's able to respond here, but you can see how well Expert are playing. They're really sticking together as one when they know the pulse bomb's not up, and they're able to at least force Esporati to get too aggressive and then pick up those kills.
Indeed, and Expert for now, they're just going to comfortably hold on here. And right now, Jason, in regards to the match situation, I mean, there's multiple ways to enjoy Overwatch, and right now, Team Expert is choosing speedrunning as their mode of choice.
I didn't know where AGDQ is happening right now. I don't know.
It is happening right now, in a sense.
And look at that world record here. I mean, they're still 48%. They're still trailing this one. If Cranks can pick up kills just with the shurikens alone onto Gustav long range, Esporati's having a tough time. But I mean, the positives out of them, they know the comp they want to run with, and they're confident in the comp they want to run with. Problem is that they just can't deal with Genji. They can't deal with Envision, who's just constantly being that presence. He's constantly coming in from different angles, and it forces them to always be mindful of their backs.
Well, he's creeping once more. We're going to get the Envision cam here again, and oh no, you hate to see this type of thing happen. Doesn't land the stick, but still just slaughters Gustav where he stands. Gustav wondering, where's my team? And well, maybe it's something to wonder here as Expert easily cleans up this fight, and they still have plenty of ults in reserve for the next.
Yeah, they got the blade ready to go. There's going to be no trans at the moment because Gustav has been pressured. I mean, let's just point that out, right? And this, again, using the sit to actually look around the corner. Very smart out of Envision. But because Gustav's the one who's been picked off so early in these fights, he hasn't had his trance yet. He's at 72%. Venus already just uses his last fight, and he's stuck around from the one before to maintain it, which eliminates the pressure for Cranks to pick up these kills because there's no support ultimates to really stop this.
Well, Gustav gets sweet revenge, takes out Envision this time, and that's going to be big for Esporati, where they are down on time, down on hope. But this time around, they catch Team Expert with their pants down. They will be taking control of this point. But Jason, it's a tall mountain for them to climb, even in this round alone, where they have to reverse sweep the map to bring this back, and they also have to go 0 to 100 without giving up the point.
I think Expert may be a little bit too comfortable with their playing with their pants down, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, maybe casting with their pants down is something that people don't know if we're doing. Or that one to your imagination. But yeah, they caught him off guard here, but they still have so many ultimates that use in terms of Cranks who Transcend's gonna be pop. Like even just that, the fact that Gustav had to use his trance to stay alive against Envision shows the pressure's being put on him, and Cranks should have an easy time next fight.
Yeah, and this is where, okay, Team Expert loses this fight. Fine. They just made Esporati use the bulk of the reserved ultimates, and Cranks is still even getting a few kills. He had to use Dragon Blood. That's actually not so great here.
Not at all, no.
But Expert still has plenty of time to bring this one back.
Yeah, they got a self-destruct, which will allow Dids, if we want to point out in particular the fact that you use self-destruct, and then Dids is like, all right, let me pop my visor down, kill you before you resuit, survive, and then there's nothing to be able to stop my ultimate from coming through. But 50%, I mean, we're starting to see a slight snowball for Esporati. It comes down to now their ultimate management, if they can just keep these ultimates used to a minimum to win these fights.
Well, as you said, the name of the game is Ult Economy, and that means Dids is the next man up. He needs to have a successful fight here, and he's going to have to go in now. He's down to Zenyatta, but he's up attack visor.
They've given up so much positioning here, ZP. Like, no one's on the point. They're capturing here, and they're being knocked away. Finally, that Winston's going to come back in, but is it even going to be enough? He's almost by himself.
Winston, a little bit late to the party, and Vision just camping out here. Crank's able to come in on the flank, and Team Expert going to casually bring this one back. And Jason, it feels like time is flying by rather